Tonight on News 5 Live, murder in Buttonwood Bay. A well-known resident is gunned down while socializing on Thursday night. Ian Yellow Guinea is busted with over 1,000 cans of contraband beers in the Orange Walk district. And Belize braces for inclement weather this weekend. We'll tell you what the Met Service forecasts for the days ahead. These stories and more are coming up on News 5 Live.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, June 17th. I am Annlyn Apollonio. A well-known employee of Brody's Supermarket here in Belize City is dead after he was shot in Buttonwood Bay neighborhood on Thursday night. It was routine for Glenn Vernon to meet up with his friends after work at a location on Dolphin Drive. There, they would socialize and enjoy each other's company before going their separate ways at the end of the night. But last night ended in tragedy as Vernon was gunned down just a few blocks away from where he lived on Independence Avenue. From all accounts, he was not the intended target of the gunmen who visited the residence and unleashed a hail of bullets on the unsuspecting men. News 5's Isani Cayetano visited the scene of the deadly shooting and has the following story.
When 46-year-old Glenn Vernon stopped by after work on Thursday evening, his friends didn't know that it would have been the last time they'd see him alive. This residence on Dolphin Drive was Vernon's favorite hangout. Along with several others, he visited regularly, and they would socialize under this shed. Last night was no different. He showed up, met with his friends, and they began drinking. It is reported that sometime during the course of the get-together, a misunderstanding took place with another person who was said to be intoxicated. The vehicle that he was driving ran into a nearby drain. Someone who was with Vernon got into a verbal exchange with the driver, and sometime later, a pair of men appeared on a motorcycle. They said nothing. Instead, the passenger quietly produced a firearm, showered the area with bullets, and sped off into the night. When the smoke cleared, Vernon had been shot in the leg and right rib cage. Despite being rushed to the Carl Hughesney Memorial Hospital in critical condition, the well-known Brody's employee expired while undergoing emergency medical treatment. He succumbed to his injuries shortly before 2 a.m. today. No arrest has been made as police continue their investigation into the latest homicide. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Ian Guinea is a well-known football player who made a name for himself with the Jaguars, Belize's national team. But tonight he is not making the news for his accomplishment on the football field. Earlier today, police officers allegedly stopped Ian Guinea in an area between San Antonio and Santa Cruz villages in the Orange Walk district to conduct a search of the gray Toyota Corolla he was in. Well, that search allegedly yielded a large quantity of contraband beers inside the vehicle. Reports are that officers allegedly found 42 cases of Mexican Corona beers, 6 cases of Superior beers, and 2 cases of Barrilitos beers, all amounting to over 1,000 cans of contraband alcohol. Reports are that Guinea was escorted to the Customs Department for processing. In an initial Facebook post following these reports, Guinea wrote, quote, "So I can't have my party again then," unquote. He later made another Facebook comment referring to the allegations as false. The post says, quote, "Guys, I am fine. I am home from mourning. I let my lawyers deal with all them false allegations. We will continue to follow." A single mother in Ladyville has been the victim of numerous break-ins at her home near Mirage Road. In the wee early hours this morning, her residence was burglarized and the thief or thieves who entered her home made off with an assortment of items. Anselma Sutherland is frustrated and doesn't know where else to turn after making desperate appeals to have the neighborhood cleared and it lit with streetlights. Just before 3 a.m., someone burglarized Sutherland's property while she was asleep with her son. She believes that the thieves are also residents of that neighborhood.
I see my front door wide open and my screen door wide open. I am in the drizzle. So first thing I scream out, "Orange!" And then my baby jump out of bed. He said, "What happened?" I said, "No, tell me, we gang asleep and left the door open." He said, "No, ma. Remember you cook noodles and everything we eat and you gonna be in." I put my phone on charge after 10, ma. So, no. One and one together, and I think afterwards I realized my kitchen, my TV, my son bicycle, they just gone and pick out where they want. They got shopping in my house. Then I put on my tennis and I grab my machete and I tell my son left the door because the thief gone with my house key too. But thank God they never hurt me and my son. But for knowing the thief was in my house while watching me sleeping, they raped me over, man. You know, nice.
It's not the first time they've broken into your home.
They broke into my house. I asked everybody like to cut their yard or whatever, they don't do it. But I never the home when they broke into my house.
Coming up, a primary school teacher is knocked down in Lord's Bank. An appeal is made for urgent medical treatment abroad.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." Once in a revival service, a young evangelist preached the severity of God's judgment on many of society's ills. In the spirit of love, an older and wiser pastor approached him after the service, and instead of showering him with compliments, he simply said, "Young man, don't kick the darkness, turn on the light." I sometimes think that Jesus, who has left his followers as a bright light in a dark world, would like to say to us, turn on the light. Light directs one's path and points him in the right direction. Light dispels one's darkness and illuminates his life by accentuating both good and evil. Light protects our homes and businesses from thieves and robbers. A blind man was once discovered sitting at the corner of a city street with a lantern beside him. When he was asked why the lantern was there, since light and darkness were the same to him, he replied, "I have it so that no one may stumble over me." Could it be that the reason so many people are being stumbled over and are stumbling around in darkness is because we as Christians have not turned our lights on? So let me challenge you, turn your light on. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
From the first day I met you, I knew my life was going to take a turn for the better, but I never knew just how much that was going to be. I've experienced things with you that I never thought possible. You showed me the beauty in the simplest things, and I've come to appreciate them immensely. I look at myself snuggling up at home with you and watching movies on a Friday night, or taking an evening stroll by the sea, and I'm reeling with excitement like it's the first time, every time. With you, I can just be myself, and I consider myself so lucky to be able to experience that comfort in our relationship. You somehow always manage to turn every day into a special occasion, a skill I absolutely commend you for. In my time with you so far, you've made me realize a lot about myself, and an important one is that my world is what it is because I have you in it, and I would very much like to keep you in it. So now, I have only one question for you. Turn around.
A primary school teacher and her 5-year-old son were struck by a vehicle on Monday evening in Lords Bank as they were walking home. Tessa Maivet, a teacher at Bernice York Institute of Learning, was along with her son when a vehicle knocked them down. While the little boy escaped serious injury, his mother wasn't as lucky. She suffered multiple fractures on her hip and is unable to receive surgery in Belize. Maivet remains bedridden at the Carl Huschner Memorial Hospital and is making an appeal to students, parents, and alumni of BYI to assist with her medical expenses. She has to be airlifted to the United States for a surgery to be performed by specialists. News 5 spoke with Principal Sherry Ali about the incident and what is being done to help the injured educator.
Our teacher, who is our science teacher for the middle division and also our homeroom teacher for Standard 4, Miss Tessa Maivet, she was going home, she and her son. This happened on Monday evening. While she was going home, she took her bus, she dropped off in Lords Bank Village, and as they were walking home, a car slammed into them from the back, right? So they weren't aware. They were walking at the side of the road and a car just slammed into them. Luckily, her son, who is only 5 years old, he was flung forward, so he received minor injuries. Unfortunately, Miss Tessa took the brunt of the accident, right? The full impact. She got the full impact, and because of that, she had multiple fractures. And the seriousness of the accident is that she basically fractured both of her hips and damaged the ball joint.
For Tessa Maivet to be flown to the United States by air ambulance, she needs to raise $7,000 US. That doesn't include the cost of the surgery and therapy. According to Principal Ali, the school has made a donation, but they are still in need of financial assistance from the public.
She needs surgery. The surgery is very delicate and complicated. There are no specialist surgeons in Belize to be able to do that type of surgery. So because of that, she has to seek medical attention and that surgery in the United States. So what we're trying to do as a school, we have already given her a donation from our school, and we have also sent out a letter to parents asking for them to give any contribution whatsoever for her to raise funds to be airlifted. Her first goal is to be airlifted. The cost of the airlift ambulance is 7,000 US or 14,000 Belize. So that's the first goal, because she will have a number of other expenses that will cover the surgery, the post-care rehabilitation, because after the surgery, she will have to learn to walk all over again. So it's a very, very serious and delicate surgery that she has to do. I would like to put out an appeal to any of our previous or our past students, past parents, or anyone in the general public who would like to contribute to Miss Tessa. We do have a Facebook post on the BYI page, and it does have her Atlantic Bank account number, which you can contribute directly into her account at Atlantic Bank. We really appeal to you because there is no other aid or any other assistance that we can do for her in Belize. She needs to be flown out as soon as possible.
In December 2021, the retaining wall at Mile 7 on the Philip Goulson Highway gave way as a result of the Belize River's undercurrent. Construction on that portion of the highway is expected to begin in 10 days. But the need for upgrades along the highway heading out of Belize City is not limited to Mile 7. When we caught up with Julius Espat, the Minister of Infrastructure Development, on Thursday, he highlighted the challenges motorists face along the highway from Belize City to the Philip Goulson International Airport in Ladyville.
We're about 10 more days for the piling to start to drive. We have to understand this, we had to build everything from scratch, so the contractor built the piles to specifications. 10 more days is left for the piling to be cured. And after that, not only the piling, but the protection that we need to put in, the shear wall. So in about 10 more days, they will start doing the physical work.
How long do you think this would remedy the situation? Because we have a homicide issue with that section of the highway.
It's there, but the lifespans of most of these things are between 20 to 30 years. You can't plan for longer than that because you're dealing with corrosive material when you talk about salt and all of that. So that's what the design is for.
Okay, so since the collapse of the manual there, has it gotten worse? I haven't passed through that area yet.
There's another section that we have. What happened is when it happened, we sent out our engineers to analyze the whole area, and there's another section that is at peril. So once we finish this one, we'll have to do an analysis and do a proposal to start dealing with the other side.
Okay, yeah, okay, so before you reach the bridge, there's that section there.
Both sections are, before the bridge.
You could have got in a bounce house, you just...
Well, that whole, we have a problem coming out of Belize City all the way to the airport, you know. If you've noticed the roundabout by Belize, the second roundabout, the road that was done before our time has already sunk. What our engineers are telling us is that there is like an underground water stream, and that the material, the sub-material that's there is not adequate. So to be able to remedy it permanently, you might have to drive piles and create like a causeway type scenario. That is something we will have to propose to Cabinet, because that's not an inexpensive approach. Something like that will cost you between $40 to $50 million. And so we have to always be balancing the needs of the country. We got, 2,500 miles of roads approximately, hundreds of bridges. And so we have to be balancing and analyzing the budget that's given to us to see what is priority. So that's how we approach it.
We also got an opportunity to ask Espat and Cordell Hyde, the area representative for Lake Independence, for an update on government's transition to the Eleanor Hall building on Lake Independence Boulevard. Several government departments are relocating to the multi-million-dollar building, which was constructed under the former administration for use as a multi-purpose facility. To date, the Treasury Department, National Bank, Development Finance Corporation, the Prime Minister's Office, and the Ministry of Finance have relocated to the building. Looking out for his constituents, Hyde says there is a lot more development slated to come to the area.
That was a painful pill for us to swallow in the last administration, because I believe it started at 12 million, 13, 14, 15 million, it ended up at 26 or even more millions on that building, and they couldn't give us anything out of that, anything out of that. We have to do things differently. this time. I think the people ultimately punish the government for that, for treating them so badly and so callously during that time. Our job is to make sure that whatever development comes in that area, and there's lots of development slated to come up in that particular area. It's a hot area. We're going to make sure that our people get theirs. In fact, right now we're focused on dealing with the situation where lots of people have squatted on private lands there. It's a whole mess. We started putting streets from a while ago, and now we are trying to finalize the surveys, trying to finalize negotiations with the landowners so that government can acquire it, so that ultimately we can get it properly surveyed and people can get their land titles, and we're hoping to get that done. We've said September. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Most of them have. The building is now occupied. They were waiting for furniture, which came in already. So Treasury is there, and National Bank is there, I believe DFC is there, the Prime Minister's Office or Ministry of Finance is, I don't think they have occupied it in its entirety, but they're starting to show presence. So yes.
You mentioned earlier you're a servant to the people, but what goes through your mind when you see that huge building, millions of dollars, and just across swamp filled with poor people?
Well, you've heard me mention my feelings about that many years ago. It hasn't changed, but we have inherited something, and as part of government, I have to be responsible to make sure that what is there at least is preserved, and that we maintain it, and that it's used efficiently. That's our role. We weren't the decision makers, but at the end we inherited it, and we have to be responsible to maintain it.
Minister Espat also gave an update on the use of the Belize Civic Center. The $33 million sporting facility is buzzing with activities, says Minister Espat. He says that the greatest challenge the Civic Center poses is its excessive consumption of energy used to power its air conditioning system. But according to Espat, engineers are working to resolve this issue.
We just had the Mexican government coming in to do a large concert. We have tournaments. We have the volleyball tournament coming up in about a month's time. We have graduations. It's very active. But what we want to do and what we have done is we have engaged the engineers and architects from the Ministry of Infrastructure Development to do a physical analysis of the building to see if we could maybe redesign it in such a way that it becomes useful without having to use the air conditioning. The air conditioning the power consumption is holding us back to do more than we need to do. But the Civic is not there to make money. The Civic is there to serve the people of Belize, and that is what we will do. We will maintain it to the best that we can, and we will make sure that it is being used once they follow the rules and once they clean it, prepare, and protect it. That's our role.
After the break, hurricane preparedness and the country's state of readiness.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us, and point us in the right direction. What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
June is full of joy at Cellular World. Cheers to our graduates and their dads, because during this month, we should come together to recognize their efforts with a meaningful gift. Give them a gadget to improve their life or that they will enjoy, such as a laptop for future university students or a cell phone or tablet for dad that wants to keep in touch. At Cellular World, we have great gift options for those that you love. even better. We are giving away free scratch and win cards with every purchase over $25. Visit us at our stores in Belize City, Belmopan, and San Pedro, or shop with us online by sending us a message on WhatsApp at 615-5141. Find the perfect gift for your dad or grad at Cellular World.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
With the touch of a finger, we can easily unlock our phones and securely gain access to our data. This technology is called Biometrics, and the Social Security Board is introducing fingerprint recognition to make transactions and handling of your sensitive data secure, fast, accurate, and convenient. Is your identity safe? Fingerprint recognition will keep your Social Security record secure and confidential while making your access fast and easy. It protects your identity. Is your name a common one? Fingerprint recognition uses your unique characteristics, ensuring your hard-earned benefits go directly to you, the rightful owner. Tired of all the paperwork? Fingerprinting makes this hassle-free. Your convenience and your information security is our priority.
Fingerprint recognition is here. Social Security at your fingertips.
It's time to bring the energy and entertainment back to Tuesday nights. It's time for the return of KTV The Remix. We're looking for new talent for this year's competition. Auditions will be held at Channel 5 Studios in Belize City on June 25th and 26th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You must be 16 years or older. Bring your best voice and come TV ready.
17 days into the official hurricane season, there have already been reports of flooding, especially in southern Belize. Fortunately, there are no major weather systems affecting Belize at this time. But constant rains are a sign that we will experience an above-average 2022 hurricane season. While the minister responsible for disaster risk management, Orlando Habet, says that first responders are prepared. Today, he told the press that hurricane shelters are ready and volunteers are prepared to work in the event of any emergency.
I think from NEMO's standpoint, I think we're very prepared. We started very early, looking at since January. They did the assessments of the hurricane shelters, tried to do some refurbishment where it was possible. Training has been done for the new people who have been employed, and repeat training for those who are already there, so that they are consistent and up to date with new material. We might have some problems maybe in terms of NEMO itself having sufficient vehicles, but because we have committees, and then NEMO employs the assistance of various committees. So you have human development, you have Ministry of Infrastructure, you have agriculture, and so when it comes together, then it makes a complete team. I think that where we might have some glitches there is also on the side of the housing, because not all the shelters are adequate. some are under the control of the government because those are hurricane shelters, but some are under the control of the schools, which might be a state school or a church state school, and so those may not be at 100%, but most of those that were not were taken out and so substituted with other new facilities.
Belize City continues to be a concern during the wet season. While major infrastructural work has been done along the canals in Belize City, as well as dredging works in the Hollover Creek, Minister Orlando Habet says Belize City will always be a problem due to its location below sea level. He is, however, advising residents to remain vigilant and heed all warnings.
It's always a problem, always a big risk. I think earlier in the year there was some work done along the, well, especially here in Belize City by the Hollover Creek. Some of the areas were dredged to try to allow the water to flow faster. There's some work being done by the Hollover Bridge now with the new construction, so some dredging had happened, so the water flows a lot easier. Belize City will always be a problem. It's a low-lying area. Just more vigilance and also to keep the assistance of the BDF and the Coast Guard, who have been extremely helpful in all the weather events to assist. So I think in that regard, we'll be okay. People just have to heed to the warnings and the signs, get out in time, and this is something that we have always asked. Don't put yourself in trouble or in jeopardy, but neither put the officers who will have to come to try to rescue you. So if there is a warning and there is a timeline, a date that you have to get out, then try to get out in time so that you don't put other people at risk also.
The National Meteorological Service held its 10th National Climate Outlook Forum today in Belize City. The forum highlighted key messages and presentations from local, regional, and international agencies on the provision of climate information and services. It also included presentations from the meteorologists and climatologists at the National Meteorological Service on the rainfall and temperatures forecasted for the remainder of the rainy season.
This is the 10th Climate Forum that's organized by the Met Service. And certainly on a daily basis we get our weather reports, but it is absolutely important for the forum to inform the stakeholders of not only the seasonal weather forecast, but also what's happening currently and what can be forecasted for the near future. And so while it is important for the general public, some of the important stakeholders here today have representation from the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health, I guess even the Blue Economy, and the staff from the areas of sustainable development and other areas, because it's so important on a national basis. And so I think the information that's going to be presented will look at those seasonal forecasts, but certainly the daily events and what is coming here. We right now are experiencing some extreme weather with some rains. Currently it's going to be here for the next few days. But in terms of productivity, in agriculture especially, it is absolutely important, because people have to know when it is time to prepare their land, when it is time to plant, when it's time for harvesting, and so it's absolutely important. But also what is important is the collaboration from all the stakeholders, because sometimes information has to come not only from the Met Office and the climatological services to the public, but also from the stakeholders back to them, so that they can also be able to inform. So a lot of it is collaboration and coordination amongst the various stakeholders with the department.
The presentation that I personally will be delivering is on the activity for this year, the hurricane season, and the predictions are for it to be an above normal season. So we do hope that our stakeholders, whether it be in agriculture, disaster management, energy, and so on, will take that information and have their plan, their contingency in place in case there's a storm coming our way this particular season.
It is going to be a wet and rainy weekend across the country with potential flooding in low-lying areas. The National Meteorological Service has been tracking a weather system that has moved through Nicaragua and Honduras and is about to emerge in the Gulf of Honduras. Experts do not expect the system to develop into a depression. There is, however, a high chance of heavy rainfall across Belize over the next few days. It is something you should be preparing for in the event you have outdoor plans for the weekend. We spoke with Chief Meteorologist Ronald Gordon about the weekend weather.
Like you rightly mentioned, we had been monitoring a system that was showing potential for development over the Southwest Caribbean Sea. That system has moved over Nicaragua, then Honduras, and is about to emerge into the Gulf of Honduras. The system now has a very low chance of becoming a depression or so before it comes over our area, but it has a lot of moisture with it. And as a result, we expect that there will be several showers and thunderstorms within the next few days over the weekend, and even early into next week because the environment will remain very moist behind that system.
Is there any areas in particular that needs to be concerned and on the alert for flooding and heavy rains?
Yeah, certainly we expect rainfall across most of the country, so we're not focusing on any particular area. In terms of flooding, the usual flood-prone areas, low-lying areas, and of course in the south where there are the rivers and streams and so on, you can be on the lookout for a possibility of flooding with that.
The Belmopan Emergency Committee has issued a notice to residents of the Garden City, informing them of the low-pressure system that is expected to affect the entire country over the weekend. With the expected outbreaks of showers and thunderstorms, a flood watch is in effect and there is a possibility of flooding over low-lying and flood-prone areas in Belmopan. News 5 spoke with Ludwig Palacio at the Belmopan City Council about this notice that he says is coming from the Belmopan Emergency Management Organization.
We are aware and notified of the heavy rains which are expected over the weekend. As you know, Belmopan has several low-lying areas. For example, the GMW area, the Mayamopan area, the Salvapan area. All those areas have watersheds that could rise and could become potentially dangerous to the residents. So we would like them to take all the necessary precautions just should in case they experience a flood situation. So they have to listen to the radio, listen to NEMO, listen to the Weather Bureau of Belize to be alert and avoid any kind of situation that could happen as a result of floods.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise has also issued an advisory for farmers in flood-prone areas. The safety measures advisory outlines actions to mitigate the effects of possible flooding. The release says that crop producers are advised to harvest available and mature crops, make a note of all crops planted and production amount, and store harvested crops in cool, dry areas to avoid spoilage, unquote. Producers with tropical greenhouses or covered structures are being asked to remove covering materials, safely store equipment and supplies, and make a note of all crops planted and production amount. Meanwhile, livestock producers are advised to temporarily relocate animals to safer areas, ensure availability of animal feed and water, and make count of all animals. The ministry says it is advising farmers in low-lying and flood-prone areas to safeguard their families and livelihoods as needed. When we return, transport officers are now special constables with powers of arrest. But first, here is the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
The government of Belize has been blazing a trail and delivering on every milestone of its tax reform program. Iris Belize was launched in 2021 and its second phase is here in 2022. It provides taxpayers and or their representatives with the ability to sign up for Iris Belize. You'll now be able to inquire, file, and pay online. This means that tax clients like you are able to sign up online and get access to individual and companies' tax accounts. No more long lines. Contactless, safe, from support, from the privacy and safety of your homes and offices.
It's Super Handy Dad's month again at Brothers Habit and Habit, and that means super deals and super gifts for that super special dad. And we're bringing the power to all Super Handy Dads all month with 15% off all power tools and accessories from Stanley, Black & Decker, DeWalt, Skill, and Bosch. And 15% off our entire brand new line of truck automotive batteries. Super powerful! Plus super clearance deals on Westinghouse lights, select paint colors, and much more. So come in today to Habit and Brothers Habit this Super Handy Dads month and pick up these super deals at super savings.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Compostable plastics. To understand what a compostable plastic is, we need to know that composting is a natural way to recycle decomposed organic material like oranges or banana peels. So, a compostable plastic is similar to the banana peel in the sense that it also undergoes biological decomposition in a compost site and doesn't leave any toxic residue. In fact, it breaks down into carbon dioxide, water, inorganic compounds, and biomass at a similar rate of compostable materials. This is great because once properly disposed of, compostable plastic food packaging would be broken down in a manner much kinder to the environment compared to plastics. The recycled materials would return to Earth quickly and safely as soil when disposed of in the right environmental conditions and temperatures. It's important to note that for decomposition to occur, all compostable products must reach a sanitary landfill where there is proper management of the waste through disposal and treatment. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Time to bring the energy and entertainment back to Tuesday nights. It's time for the return of KTV The Remix. We're looking for new talent for this year's competition. Auditions will be held at Channel 5 Studios in Belize City on June 25th and 26th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You must be 16 years or older. Bring your best voice and come TV ready.
The expanding capital city, Belmopan, now has 34 new special constables who over the past 10 days underwent a training course on traffic laws and upon their successful completion of the training are empowered to make arrests on traffic violations. The officers received their certificates this afternoon and News 5's Marian Ali was present at the ceremony and filed this report.
I, Mr. Williams, Castillo, do swear.
The oath of allegiance, recited by a combination of the Belmopan City Council's traffic authorities and the Department of Transport, marked the completion of their 2 weeks of training in traffic laws and traffic violations, and the start of their new roles as special constables with the power of arrest. The 2 weeks of training covered traffic laws, methods of arrest for traffic offenses, people's constitutional rights, and the issuance of summonses, court procedures, and case file compilations. Director of Training, Senior Superintendent Lester Wade, urged the special constables to be upstanding and dignified officers on the job rather than abusive of the power they now possess.
They say if you want to see a person's true character, give him power. You'll be sworn in as special constables, which gives you the powers of arrest. And that's huge power to take away people's freedom. It's fortunate and it is a privilege for you to get powers of arrest. As you go out there and you execute the traffic laws, and where you will have to make an arrest, ensure that it is done in accordance with the law.
Minister of Transport Rodwell Ferguson went one step further to advise the special constables to use discretion where it is necessary.
Your approach makes a big difference. So when you approach a citizen, it must be with respect. And then the respect will be returned unto you. And sometimes you might find an offense. Somebody is driving and the license may be up on Friday and you caught the person on a Saturday. And you want to say, okay, I will issue you a ticket. We not ask you if you broke the law, but sometimes your discretion must be used. Maybe that person is taking a sick child to the hospital.
David Castillo is the Assistant Operations Officer at the Department of Transport. But even in that capacity, he did not have the power of arrest when he encountered drivers openly breaking the traffic laws. That is, until today.
Expired motor vehicle insurance is an arrestable offense. Without having that power to arrest, not having the special constable authority, then our officer cannot arrest the offender. We will have to depend on the police to come and do the arrest. An entire procedure taking them to be prosecuted. But now by our traffic warden being empowered as a special constable, they now have that authority to arrest.
Mayor Sharon Palacio said that Belmopan's fast expansion calls for as many special constables as possible, so this cohort of new trained traffic personnel will help to ease the traffic overload during peak hours.
It is our dream every day to have an orderly city. I am sure some of you at times will see the rush hour for us is really a rush hour. The amount of traffic officers that we would need, we do not have the budget to sustain our needs.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
The Belize Tourism Board is elevating the services being offered in the local tourism industry. BTB recently inaugurated its Elevate training program for tourism stakeholders under the theme Defining Customer Service and Leadership. The project started with its first workshop in San Pedro Town and Burglary. Today, the training program moved to Belize City, where over 50 individuals who are employed in the tourism industry gathered to improve their customer service and leadership skills. We spoke with Abel Castaneda, the Director of Quality Management at BTB, about the program.
We're rolling out our Elevate training program, which is a national training program for tourism across the country. The current program that we have is one of 5 sub-programs that we have under that larger scale scope of projects. This one is called the Ambassador Program, which is specifically geared towards frontline training, hospitality training, customer service training, communications, leadership for workers of the tourism sector. Right, so right now, this particular cohort is primarily your tour guides, your tour operator employees, your hotel employees, your restaurant employees, and we have engaged a Canadian firm called Lemon8, and world-renowned for this type of training. And so we are doing a first round of trainings in the country. In fact, we just came back from San Pedro and Kikaka, where we did a similar training with stakeholders on that side. Today we're in Belize City. Next week we go to northern Belize to Orange Walk and to Corozal. And then in July, the Lemonade team comes back and assists us to the west of the country and then southern Belize as well. So before we started this particular program, we did a country-wide assessment in each destination along with the trainer to see where exactly the level of customer service, hospitality was at each destination. Right, so in each destination there is a internal sort of level that we have assigned them, and so the trainings are geared towards that. So the training that we get in San Pedro, for instance, may not be the same that we get in Belize City, depending on what the assessment showed. So based on that, we do post-evaluations of the workshops, and then because it's a 3-year program, there's follow-up training that also will be provided.
On the day of her memorial on June 5th, the 59th anniversary of her hanging, the sons of the late Nora Parham had shared their wish that the government would open centers in every district to provide support for victims of domestic violence. It is a wish that the Minister of Human Development, Dolores Balderramos Garcia, has not ignored. She was the government official who had signaled earlier this year that Parham had been dealt an injustice on all accords and that she should at least be posthumously pardoned. Minister Garcia told us that the call by Parham's eldest son, Harry Parham, has prompted them to seek collaboration towards that end.
The most touching part of the ceremony was a sharing of the experience by the eldest son, Mr. Harry Parham, and he actually did indeed call for the attention to domestic violence survivors. And so it gives us a guideline. It gives us sort of a way forward to try to be able to provide these centers in all the districts. We have to work with the Cayo district, for example, now. They had a fire there the other day in their office, so we have to assist them. And I've pledged to work along with the area rep, Minister Shebat, to see how we can replace that loss. In Belize City, we have the Haven House Shelter for Battered Women, but we do need one in each district. And Mr. Harry Parham having called for it, we will have to try to work towards that. I cannot promise that it's going to be tomorrow, but especially if, say, for example, the Toledo district, where Miss Nora was from Forest Home in near Punta Gorda, let's look at it, because it is a very, very great need. And of course, it's going to fall to the Ministry of Human Development with our partners to try to provide those centers. I think in Orange Walk we need, in the Belmopan area we need, in Stan Creek we need. And I'm going to be speaking with our partners, because that is something that absolutely we need to do. And in memory of Miss Nora Parham herself, and honoring the request of her sons. So yes, we're going to work at it, but of course I send out a call for the cooperation of all like-minded people and all our friends to be able to turn this to a reality that we can have a center in each district.
Today, Belize captured 2 gold medals at the Under-20 Central American Athletics Championship in Managua, Nicaragua. Mia Sylvester won Belize's first gold medal in the discus throw event with a throw of 40.85 meters, improving on her personal best by almost 4 meters. Later, Kirk Elrington Jr. won Belize's second gold medal, this time in the triple jump event. We heard briefly from both young athletes, courtesy the Belize Athletic Association.
Amazing, a huge personal best for me.
Okay. You have one covered. How would you feel about your next event?
I'm ready for a second event. I hope all goes good. Remember my technique and I should be able to produce again.
Kurt, you brought us our second gold medal for the day. How do you feel? First place in the triple jump.
Good, but I had to work for it.
You were the underdog.
Underdog for the whole thing.
Yeah, you fouled two throw. How do you feel about coming that last jump and doing it?
Good. I almost had to come out.
Belize's athletes in the various disciplines are often put to the test when they compete against their peers from other countries. Sometimes they make us proud, and at other times we see where their preparation in the sport did not make them the best at their game to contend on the international level. Many have criticized Belize, from the Ministry of Sports to the different sports associations and leagues, for not investing enough in the athletes to excel. But there is a conscious effort on the part of the ministry to place more serious emphasis on developing the athletes in the various disciplines from an early age, as is done in other countries.
We are going to start establish sports academy across the country. I think one is active in Corozal right now. I think one in Dangriga. We try to reach out to every district to make sure we have a sports academy from an early age. I know in Haiti what they do, they put them in a camp from 6 years old until they turn adult, or maybe 14, 15 years old. I know Haiti is one of the best teams in the region because of the years that they start with the children. So we have to do likewise. In terms of those playing football or any sports, it's not a full-time job. So they say, oh, I'm only called maybe 1 month, giving a least salary or a least stipend for that month, then we go back to our normal lives. I have to find a way how we can retain them and pay them a salary.
Can we afford it?
At the moment, I would say maybe yes and no, but as we prolong and progress, I believe we can.
Just ahead, Sabrina looks at amputees making a comeback in the professional space.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the Split the Bill button where he selects the Evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
Off goal, what a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi. Oh, what a goal from Lionel
Great
Messi.
entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
It's time to bring the energy and entertainment back to Tuesday nights. It's time for the return of KTV The Remix. We're looking for new talent for this year's competition. Auditions will be held at Channel 5 Studios in Belize City on June 25th and 26th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You must be 16 years or older. Bring your best voice and come TV ready.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
This week's On the Bright Side with Sabrina Daly highlights a non-governmental organization that is offering amputees who are getting another lease on life through the use of prosthetic limbs.
On the Bright Side is brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
Meet Lloyd Graham. He lost his leg 6 years ago when a trailer fell on top of him. Recounting the incident, Lloyd shared with us the realization that his world would change forever after seeing his limb severed from his body.
I was a driver and mechanic, and I got hurt. A trailer fell on top of me, and this leg went in the ground, in the grass, and I fell and it broke right there.
But today is no regular day for Graham. He sat in a consultation with Prosthetic Hope International Belize with a hope to put aside his crutches.
It gave me back my opportunity to survive in life. I could drive now, I could drive standard. I only drive automatic without the both leg now.
I'm going to get a little bit of plaster on you, we'll get it cleaned off afterward.
The same goes for Pablo Rash, except he is here to restore a sense of normalcy on the job site. Rash, an electrician, lost his arm 3 years ago, also in an accident.
Well, I do electrical work, but as for me right now with one arm, it's very difficult to work on it.
The number of amputees in Belize grows daily as persons attempt to adjust to life after losing a limb to sickness or accidents. For everyone, young and old, it's difficult.
Well, I lost my leg when I was 12 years old. I would say a traffic accident. I was knocked down on the roadside. And ever since I'm an amputee.
Wow, it was hard, but you know, God brought me through. And I guess losing my leg was like a good experience for me because at the rate I was going, I wasn't going right. So it helps, you know. What can I say?
Prosthetic Hope International is the parent organization of Prosthetic Hope International Belize. It provides a critical service to the disabled community. And up until recent years, its location in Orange Walk District was the only access to prosthetic and orthopedic amenities.
There's a time when you finish making the leg and you put the prosthesis on someone and they feel like they finally have
the ability to return to ambulating, to walking, to their work, to just having themselves restored as whole again. That's really a profound moment, and that's the thing that really brings people coming back to Belize to try and offer these services. And honestly, that's what got me into the profession more than anything, is to be able to make something that you can put on somebody and return their self of wholeness or their ability to have a higher quality of life. That's really an amazing gift to be able to share with somebody.
Robert Kistenberg, founder of Prosthetic Hope International, has been providing this service to Belize for 25 years. Medical practitioners and technicians that specialize in prosthetics and orthopedics would volunteer their expertise on a quarterly basis in Belize. Over 1,000 Belizeans have benefited from the organization, and even more legs were made or repaired during that time.
So I'm a prosthetist, so we do assessment of the clients and decide what is the best course of action for them. And then our great technician, Josh, this time builds the devices for us. And then when he's finished, then we do fitting to the device, make sure that it's fitting the way it's supposed to, put the foot in the right place and space, or the hand, depending on whether we're doing an arm or a leg, and then do follow-up calls. So if they come back and they say, you know, it's hurting me, this device is hurting me in this place, then we figure out why it's that way and try to fix that. So we make them comfortable again.
There's a lot of waiting, you know, like even this. I'll wet the bandage, hang it there, and wait. And then I'll do it again and wait. And then I'll get back to the shop. I'll stick it down in a sand bin and pour liquid plaster in there, and then wait. And then I might do a foam liner, so I'll put it in the oven and wait. Put it on the mold and wait for it to cool off. Wait for glue to dry. A lot of waiting time.
And the turnaround time goes beyond waiting for the final product. Some prosthetic candidates have been waiting for this chance of mobility for years.
At home, you would wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe depending if healing is delayed 4 or 5 weeks for a device. And I was seeing people this time who were waiting 2 years and they didn't have a device. So that's hard. So it's nice to be able to do that.
Our goal has always been to have a full-time clinician and raise enough funds to be able to do that. And so we had been working on that and coming down every quarter. Really, we put this plan in place in the summer of 2018 so that every quarter we sent a team down and were able to continue making as many legs and kind of meeting the need that we were aware of. And then COVID hit, and so then we now have found ourselves where we are now back with a very large waiting list. But our goal is still to have folks come quarterly, and the donations that the funds that we raise through donations for PHI Belize, we've been keeping that money to support the salary for a clinician, because once we have a clinician down there, then we'll have a full-time ability to take care of people rather than just quarterly. So the quarterly is just kind of a way to meet a further goal, which is to have a full-time clinician in Belize.
Noel Young is a prosthetic technician who understands empathy when interacting with the disabled community. He has been involved with the organization since the age of 9. While some suffered a tragic accident or lost a limb from a disease, Young was born without one, his right leg.
There's a great saying that who feels it knows it, and no other person, I believe, to be in a position than me. For me, I was born with one leg, so coming up was pretty difficult in some sense, but having a great mom and siblings, I was able to pursue through a lot of stuff that would happen at school or at work or whatever the case may be. And now I'm just here to give back what others give to me, and hoping and praying that one day I can say that I'm in the position to help more as a certified PO.
You have to put trust in it. If you don't put trust, then you're not able to watch.
Until then, Noel is making the limbs and teaching how to use them. And to our surprise, our second stop at PHI was met with a familiar face. Where he once supported himself with crutches, Lloyd Graham walked out of a room, adjusting to a new leg.
Mr. Lloyd, you just took your first steps as a walking man again. How do you feel?
I feel happy. So
you're going back to Ontario Village a walking man now. Are your family expecting you?
Well, they will be surprised.
Do they know that you're getting the leg today?
No, I didn't tell them anything. When I go home, when I begin to walk, then they say, but that's not light. And I say, but the light is, you know? I'm surprised.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
On the Bright Side was brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
That's the sound of fuel efficiency. Every day, every time, I choose Uno Fuels powered with Dynamax. Uno, a brand committed with the future.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Annalyn Apollonia. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.